In this video I will tell you something about the food and drink supply, if you don't want to carry the stuff with you for the whole tour. About possibilities to eat, if you don't want to cook for yourself at the end of the stretch. Where you can sleep and where not, because in the Great Glen there are some areas where wild camping is not allowed or not liked. I will say a few words about the existing hostels, but not about hotels and B&Bs. And then we come to pooping. Yes, this one too, because the Great Glen Way has something to offer. I walked the Great Glen Way from Fort William to Inverness, so shopping and accommodation will also be handled in this order. Not always does the footage show what I'm talking about. That's because the idea for this video came later than the making of the footage, so I had to work with what I had. Let's start with food. Fort William. Here there are some supermarkets. The most convenient is Morrison's. It is located exactly between the starting point of the hike and the train station. Here you will find all kinds of food and drinks to please the hikers' needs. But according to the information of the staff, there is no camping gas available in May. I conclude from this that this can be purchased in the later course of the season. But you can still get camping gas near the supermarket. In Middle Street, next to the underpass leading to the train station, there is Nevi Sport, a well-stocked outdoor shop. Another, also near the station, Ellis Brickham Mountain Sports in Nevis Terrace. Of course there will be more shops, but these are very convenient. South Lagan. At the Great Glen Hostel at the reception you can buy canned food, bag food, snacks and drinks. However, this is only possible during normal office hours. So they are not open from 6 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the evening like supermarkets. At Lagan Locks there is a restaurant on a ship, the Eagle's Barge Inn. I myself wasn't eating there because it was closed at that day, but a few other hikers I met did. Well, they weren't so amused about the price-performance ratio. Maybe I should mention that this hiker is a cook himself, so I take his opinion seriously. North Lagan. Located on the A82 towards Invergary is a small shop called the Well of the Seven Heads. Depending on the route of the Great Glen Way, left or right of the canal or Loch Oich, you have to walk about 600 or 1100 meters away from the trail. The best way to reach the shop is to walk on the left side around Loch Oich to Fort Augustus. Otherwise it will be a detour. But now to the shop. The offer is quite manageable. There are fresh bakery products, mostly sweet stuff, and different drinks. Ready-to-eat food or other conserves are not available. In Invergary there is a gas station with a small shop. It looks much better here. There is no ready-to-eat food, but canned food in a jar or in a tin. Noodles, rice, many different kinds of chips and snacks. The range of drink is also good. Who wants also gets alcohol. The gas station is about 200 to 250 meters to the right of the Great Glen Way. If you follow the A82 along the Great Glen Way in Fort Augustus, you will inevitably see on your left a petrol station with a very large shop, Londis. Here you will find a good supply. There are various conserves and also fresh food and drinks. The selection of ready-to-eat food is very manageable. Those who need unnecessary nippers, like a Nessie plush animal, are also well served here. In Fort Augustus there are plenty of pubs and restaurants, as it should be for a tourist place. Those who arrive early in Fort Augustus can have a coffee or something stronger in Cobb's Cafe. For the evening I can recommend the Lock Inn, large portions at reasonable prices. In Invermorriston there is a small general store. You can get snacks, fresh sandwiches and drinks. The store is located at the intersection of the A82 and A887, directly on the Great Glen Way. Opposite there is a small park with a large parking lot. Here you can have a good rest. Here in the hostel, approximately 200 meters off the low route, there is a small shop at the reception with canned food, ready-to-eat food, snacks and drinks. However, these are only available during the usual office hours. In Drumna Drochit, there is a new Scotmid co-op directly at the Great Glen Way since spring 2019. The supermarket is a real kicker. I had already expected one of these in Fort Augustus. You can confidently say there is everything here. The Scotmid is not to be missed at the A82 behind the roundabout, if you follow the Great Glen Way towards Inverness. About 250 meters behind on the A82 is the old Scotmid, but it is closed. There is still a snack bar. In the further course of the A82, directly at the Great Glen Way, there is a small grocery store. It is also the post office of Drumna Drochit. There are a few pubs, but with the large offer at the Scotmid, I preferred to buy tasty. Here at the Abriachan Eco Campsite, you can eat quite well, warm cuisine, but they serve only one dish a day, or cake, lemon cake. It is said that it is super tasty. I can't say because I didn't eat it, but I ate what you can see right now. You eat in the open air. There is also a modest roofing. The location is very rustic. To the qualities as a camping site, I come later in the overnight part. I will not tell you much about Inverness and the shopping possibilities, because the tour ended here for me. Furthermore, Inverness is a bigger city. There are enough supermarkets and outdoor shops to find. In this part, I also mention places where I myself stayed overnight, but also places that are alternatively suitable for the night's rest. Fort William. I can only advise against an overnight stay in Fort William Backpackers. It is very cheap, but the cleanliness is much to be desired. Better find another place to stay. Moy Bridge. You could camp here next to the Bridge Keeper's building. There is also a toilet of Scottish canals, but more about that later. On the website of Great Glen Canoe Trail, you can find the information that up to 4 tents with a maximum of 8 persons can camp here. No fire or barbecue is allowed. Gairlochie. I stayed at the Gairlochie Holiday Park, an older but very well maintained campsite. The site is about 1.5 km from Gairlochie Loch and is easily accessible via the B8004. If there is a bus at the Gairlochie bus stop, you can have a ride to the campsite. At the loch you can wild camp. There is space for 6 tents with up to 12 people. There is an official fireplace. There is also a toilet and a shower. The information comes from Great Glen Canoe Trail. Loch Lochy. Fire and camping are prohibited on the shores of Loch Lochy. Signs can be seen along the way. Some of these signs are quite hidden or have been victim of vandalism. Please keep to them, even if there are some nice inviting places. Another important hint: in some travel guides about the Great Glen Way it is written that Loch Lochy produces poisonous algae. Unfortunately, I couldn't clarify which algae it is and at which time it occurs. So please do not use unfiltered water from Loch Lochy. The water cannot be made edible with chlorine preparations or by boiling, because the poison in the algae can still unfold its effect. Only a water filter, like a Sawyer, removes the algae. Possibly you should filter the water twice, since I do not know how high the concentration is in the water. At Loch Lochy, near the Forestry Houses bus stop, there is a parking lot where you could camp wild. I didn't see any signs prohibiting camping. There is also no toilet. Whether the warning with the water of Loch Lochy still refers to this part, I cannot say. But at this place there is a small brook where you can get water. But since the origin of the algae is not clear, please clean the water with a filter. Another official site for wild camping can be found when you have walked about 2/3 along Loch Lochy. Directly on the way of the Great Glen Way you can see a toilet of Scottish canals. There is also a sign indicating the campsite. Unfortunately, I can't say anything about the number of pitches. Since there is a campsite here, I assume that the algae problem no longer exists in this part. But still, you better filter your water before you drink it or use it for cooking, just to be sure. Lagan logs. In the map of Outdoor Active, a wild camp is registered here, but this cannot be confirmed by a British OS map, nor could I find a hint in tour guides. The area looks good and you might be able to put up a tent in the log area, but before you do, ask if it is allowed. Not too far from the Lagan logs is the Great Glen Youth Hostel. I can highly recommend this for an overnight stay. It has a small shop at the reception and it is clean. North Lagan. Here is a free camping and fishing site. The shop, the Well of the Seven Heads, is also nearby. Loch Euch. Here you will find an official wild camping site if you follow the right route around Loch Euch. I can't say anything about the left route over Invagari, as I only walked a part of it. There were no pitches until Invagari. After Invagari, the way was closed because of logging. In my maps, there is no camp possibility on the left route. Back to the right route. When you have passed about 2/3 of the lake, you come across an old building that might become a bothy. Next to it, there is a toilet of Scottish canals. At the lake shore, you can see an area suitable for camping. It has 2 fireplaces and a lot of space to put up tents. Aberchalder Swing Bridge. According to the Great Glen Canoe Trail, you can camp here. There is space for 3 tents with a maximum of 6 people. There is no toilet. Kuta Loch. About 4 km before Fort Augustus is this loch. Here you can pitch up 3 tents with a maximum of 6 persons according to Scottish canals. There is a fireplace but no toilets. Fort Augustus. Camping in Fort Augustus is currently a difficult topic. The Cumberland campsite, which still appears in some travel guides, has closed in 2018. The Loch Ness Highland Resort is now in its place. It looks like you could camp there, but the website is not clear. At the time I planned my tour, there was no new operator for the Cumberland campsite yet. The Fort Augustus camping ground that appears at Outdoor Active is actually a golf course and the Loch Ness Lodge Retreat. Fort Augustus has plenty of accommodations, especially Morag's Lodge, a really good hostel. Very clean. Each room has its own bathroom with shower and toilet. Each bed has USB ports to charge electrical devices. And each bed has sockets and a reading light. There is dinner, 4 different dishes, of which one is vegetarian. There is also a bar that is open until 11 p.m. and serves alcohol. The campsite in Invercoily is situated on the low route, approximately 100 meters off the trail. It is a regular campsite. It cannot be reached from the high route unless you walk about 2.5 kilometers back on the low route. On the Outdoor Active map, there are 2 supposed campsites next to the A82. One of them is disguised as a bus stop with the name Port Clare Camping Ground. The other is Loch Ness Holiday Park. In the latter, only lodges are offered. There are no camping sites. Altsike. At this point, next to a bus stop, there is the Lochside Hostel, a very clean and cozy hostel right on the shore of Loch Ness. If you want to sleep with the window open, be warned, Nessie could stick her head into the room. In the hostel, there is a small shop at the reception. Drumna Drochit. Here are plenty of accommodations. I would like to go in particular into the camping site. It is very clean and has a free Wi-Fi around the campsite. The Wi-Fi masts are easy to see, and if you put up your tent between 2 of them, you have an excellent connection. To the Scott Mid Co-op it is about 800 meters, and to the Urquhart Castle it is about 1.5 kilometers. A possible place for wild camping on the way to Abriachan is this place. Here you can pitch 2 to 3 tents. It has also a fireplace, but I doubt that it is official. I would not make a campfire at this place because there is the danger of a forest fire in the dry coniferous forest. The eco-camping Abriachan Café campsite Westerlade is more like a wild camp than a regular campsite. You pitch your tent between trees and heather on small grassy areas that are not always flat, but it works. Please do not be surprised. A woolen pig and chicken are running free on this place. Let's have a look on the sanitary facilities. A bale of straw serves as a urinal for the gentlemen. A corrugated iron shack with roof accommodates the toilet for the big business. There is a metal bucket with a toilet seat on it. Pooping is then done on sawdust. The whole thing is then buried somewhere in the area when it is full. Anyone who sees a spade in the area knows that is the tool with which the shit is buried. Those who are looking for running water should try Loch Lade 2.5 kilometers before the campsite. There is no running water on the campsite, which means no wash basins and no showers. These small insignificant facts about the campsite are still owed by the website, and you should know them when you have to pay about £5 per night. But the owners were so friendly and gave me water so that I could wash a little. The water is taken directly from the boggy ground, hence the yellowish color. It is good for washing, but not for drinking or cooking. By all the criticism, the food here is really good. Everything homemade. Also here are lots of accommodations, but I would like to go into 2 hostels. First, the Inverness Student Hotel. This hostel belongs to the backpackers in Fort William. According to 4 hikers I met, the student hotel is similar to the backpackers, so no special focus on cleanliness. The other hostel is maybe 50 meters from the student hostel and is the Bass Packers. I can only recommend this hostel. Super clean and ingenious beds. By using a curtain you can create privacy for every bed. Each bed has a small light that is designed in such a way that it can also be used as a shelf. It also has a USB port for charging mobile devices. For each bed there is storage space and a safe where the luggage and valuables can be easily stored. Fresh towels can be rented at almost all hostels for around £1. When it comes to overnight stays, I have avoided quoting prices as far as possible, as these are only snapshots and may change due to the upcoming Brexit. Up or down, nobody knows where the journey is going. Let's get to the last part. In the part with the overnight stays at official wild camping sites, I mentioned toilets again and again. These are self-composting and are set up and maintained by Scottish Canals and Great Glen Canoe Trail. The cabins can be locked, as you should borrow the key for about £10, but some leave the cabins unlocked after use, so that other hikers don't have to shit in the open, and then leave small brown heaps with white topping, which we are happy about. Unfortunately, after the overhaul of the Great Glen Way website, I couldn't find any new information about the toilets. So I used the material I downloaded before the overhaul. So it doesn't have to be up to date anymore. You can get the key at the Corpach Sea Lock in Fort William. I will display the phone number of the office of the Caledonian Canal. And please, if you have to go pooping outside, bury the stuff, and the toilet paper may be in a plastic bag and in the garbage when you hit houses or a trash bin. The stuff doesn't belong in the ground or as wild garbage in the countryside. If everyone sticks to it, we will be able to camp wild in Scotland in the future, and there will be no trouble with the local population. Thank you.